I believe we are live. I sure hope we are live. I made the mistake last week of not pushing the final go live button, and so, but we missed a little bit of Lydia's beginning of her penciling. But I believe we are live now, and I see us. So hello to everyone out there in the Facebook land. This is Cindy Harrison, your host of Artfully Connected with Cindy Harrison Facebook group, as well as Artful Webinars. And this with us tonight is Miss Liz Miller. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to sharing this and getting a chance to paint this evening.
Yeah, I just when I saw this, I said, "Oh, that's so spooky and eerie that I thought it'd be perfect for the Halloween week, Halloween
Yeah,
being tomorrow night." And if they're not into Halloween, it still is a really cool effect. I think it really is. And it could be used for so many different things. If you don't want a spooky, foggy forest, you can have a spooky, foggy lake, right?
right.
So,
It
yeah.
could
So,
even be Christmassy or just winter.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, so it's a lot of different things, and you have a unique way of making pine trees also, which is very interesting. And I know that when you taught at the Artful Affair back in May, people were just having fun. They couldn't wait to sit down with you and make trees. So
oh,
it'll
it's
be
fun.
it'll be fun to watch. Absolutely. So everyone, if you're here tonight with us, let us know where you're from. If you're going to be painting along with Liz, the pattern packet is available at artfulendeavors.net, and I'll put that over in the comments in a second. And if you have any questions other than specifics on what you would find in a pattern packet, because we want to encourage you to purchase the pattern packet and keep our artists in business so they don't have to go find a real job and and so and be unhappy because they'd rather be painting. And so just put it in the comments and we'll get back to you and answer it. Or I will, if I see it, I will relay the question on to Liz and Liz will answer it for you. And then those, if you're watching the replay, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this replay. After the 30 days are up and Facebook takes it down, I will have it over in the YouTube channel. So you can go watch it there as many times as you want. You can also ask questions on a replay, whether here or in YouTube. On here, you put the @ sign in front of Liz's name, and on YouTube, it'll get sent to me, and then I will forward it on to Liz. So there's still ways of asking questions, or you can go directly to what is the website? What is the Facebook group?
My Facebook page is Artful Endeavors.
See, not difficult to remember. I should have known that. So you could go there and ask questions to her there, and she'll get back to you. Absolutely. So that being said, I am going to put the camera on your project, Liz, and
Sure.
you can get going. And what I will do is go and make sure everybody else gets to watch it.
All
How's
right.
that
Thanks,
sound?
Cindy.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody that is here with me tonight and those of you who will be tuning in later. I'm glad you're getting a chance to join us on video. And this is um, a project that I did a little while ago and have just loved the effect. I've looked at lots of photographs of trees and fog or a mist and kept thinking, I don't want to do that. And so I finally did and figured out how I would do it. Um, the technique is not difficult. We're going to break it all down And I do have a packet. The package is on my website, artfulendeavors.net. Make sure it's .net. And then go to packets and landscape and scenes. And it'll be right there at the top of the page for you. Now, the packet is giving you colors that I have used in the past. And every time I do it, I do something a little bit different. So, no guarantees that I'll be doing the exact same colors tonight. But we know that trees in the fog are going to be a dark green color. And so I'm going to start with that. Um, we'll need lighter colors for the fog. And I usually like to start on a neutral background. And this is slate gray. So this will be a good place for us to start. And I've closed in pretty much so that you can see what I'm doing here. Let me tilt my camera down just a little bit. Okay. So as far as supplies, I like to use my flat blender. And this is from Sharp, and it's the Bringle blender. And I use usually a 4, a 6, or an 8, depending on how large I want things to be. With larger sizes, you can really do small things or larger things. With the small sizes, it's going to be more restrictive to smaller objects, but I love doing landscapes with this, and I've done uh, demos doing entire landscapes, especially winter landscapes with the flat blender. It's just such a versatile brush. So we'll be using it for one thing tonight, which is to do the trees. And I want to break down, let's see, I do use a gray palette, and this is Richson. And they're gray matters. I can see light things and I can see dark things, so it works really good for me. And this one's kind of messy. Inside the front cover, we have a grayscale, and I usually have a grayscale handy if I want to compare values. So I think that's a really valuable tool. I usually will cut this out and punch a hole right in the middle of it, and that way I'm able to put it right up on an object and to see what value it is. So I like my grayscale. What else? I'm gonna paint on a small surface tonight. It fits under the camera easily. And you could really do this technique on any size surface. You could do ornaments. You could do, my original was an 8x8, and I really liked it on that size. This is just a little 6x6 canvas board. So it won't take us forever to do this. You do need, and where is it? A chalk pencil. I like my general, it says it's white charcoal. So that's what I like to use for my chalk pencils. And the advantage to this is you could draw on here and easily either erase it or just take a damp brush and erase it. So either with an eraser or a damp brush. I will be using my dryer for this, and I'll be using my heat tool I do prefer a hair dryer. You have to be really careful with the heat tools because you can get too close and blister your paint. Other than that, it's my general painting supplies. I'll show you, this is the painting that I did on the 8x8 surface. And I wanted it to be really nice and foggy. I did this entirely with the instruction that's in the packet and using acrylic paint, but I have also done this. Okay, let me come out here a bit. Done it on a paper mache box, and this is done with the DecoArt media paint, and it works really nice. This has the iridescent on it. I don't know if you can see. Let me back up here a minute. It's not wanting to focus. Nope, that didn't help. Doesn't give me, with all the mist on here, it doesn't give me a lot to focus on. But take my word for it, there are iridescent colors on there. So let's talk about the trees and get that technique. I don't transfer a pattern. If I want to do a tree, I'm going to give myself the tree trunk, whatever size I want this to be. We'll make it just a little bit larger. If it helps you, you could go ahead and give yourself a triangle there. Okay. If you have a tendency to let your trees get too big, this is a good guide for you to have. Once you really get your technique down, then all you really need is the center trunk. What we're going to be doing with this is kind of a zigzag. Think about a Z. We're going to start at the top and we're going to be zigging back and forth across the tree and end up with kind of a triangle shape. Now I have a tendency to start getting too big, so I'll usually, if I need to, come back and add just a little bit at the top for a thinner top onto my tree. Close in here just a little bit. Take this out so we won't get that shine. My chalk pencil just escaped. All right, hang on a minute. Let me grab it. Now, do not do one side and the other side. You have to come through the center. Otherwise, it looks like you parted your tree down the middle. So you want to be sure that you're going across and back each time. Now, if you're better, if you prefer a tiny fan brush, you could use that. Both of these brushes we're going to be using the same way, whichever one you want. And I'll be using it this way with holding it way back here at the end of my handle. And with my brush, since I'm right-handed, it'll be coming from the right. Not the usual way we do. If you use it this way, you're going to get the entire edge of that brush, whichever brush you use. So we're going to be using it back here. So let me just do one of these trees as a sample for you. And then I'll start painting on my actual surface. I'm wetting my brush and I'm going to blot. I'm not carrying water. I won't just paint. And I'm loading my brush the same way that I'm going to be holding it and painting with it. So I'm not flat. I have it twisted just a little bit. So I think you can see the triangle that I have on the brush there. Make sure I'm on camera here. So I'm off to the right, got my brush coming in from the right, and I'm just going to start tapping. Right, center, center, left, center, center. You pick up a little more paint. I pick up all that chalk that I put down there. Here we go. And I'll just go side to side. These trees are not perfect, so one side doesn't have to look completely like the other. Okay, and if I need to, I can come back up and just touch in the top of the tree. Okay, now let me do one that doesn't have so much chalk on it. So I'm going to go side to side. And it's always good to do a practice one. Okay, so there's my tree. We'll do this one that I didn't do my triangle for, but I know I have to start small. And here we go, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right. I'm going to come back and touch in my top. What? Well, I tend to be messy here tonight. So another good tip is I know I'm always going to miss something. So I always keep a damp brush handy. Not a wet brush, but a damp brush. Okay, so your first trees that you do on your actual surface are going to be samples. That's your practice. And then we'll start covering them up with mist. So the instructions are going to give you more details, but I'm just going to start going here. And we'll add the trees in the background. One thing you want to remember is that you want to have variety. And look what I did to start with. These trees are pretty much, I didn't have that one on there, and they were equal distance apart, which is not good. So I'm coming back and I'm adding some trees that are closer and some that are further away. And you can go ahead and start with some trees up front also. Remember that your perspective, the trees in the back are going to get small, the ones in the front are going to get larger. don't know what. I'm using a smaller flat blender than I usually do. I like this one a little bit larger. The nice things about this flat blender is that the more you use it, the better it gets. So I'm going to start on this one right here. It's not quite so small. And I'm going to go right, left, and get some trees in there. We'll start back here with some that are a little bit smaller. These are practice trees. Get my hand warmed up here. Okay, I hit it kind of big to start with, so we'll just finish it off and add a little top to it. And I can have a bigger tree beside a smaller tree. Whatever I can think of to give myself some variety here. And just get my trees in. And especially the ones in the back here, if they aren't just a perfect shape, that's okay. I keep picking up my paint just on that triangle of my brush. And just give myself some tree shapes back here. I can have as many or as few as I want to back here. I love doing these evergreen trees, so I could have done a different tree, but that one's kind of sloppy, but it's going to mostly be covered up anyway. Let's do a couple of these out here in the front. And that very top, I can sit my brush on the side to do it. Let's do a skinnier one. It's going to be not much side to side here. This one I've got kind of fat. So this one, and it's not the same on both sides, so that's good. So I've got some trees on here. I'm a sample here. And I'm not going to paint a line for my hill. Okay. I'm going to let my trees help me develop that. So let me hit this with the dryer. And I'm going to start to develop my mist. Now, the mist in the back, I don't want bright white, so I'm going to take some of my base coat color and I'm going to mix that with my white. And I base coated with slate gray, so you could even use a lighter gray color if you want to, but I've already got slate gray. I'm going to use my 3/4 mop brush. And let me just look at my instructions here to make sure I'm telling you the same thing. So I've got my 3/4 flat. I've got my mop brush. If you wanted to use a different brush for applying paint and for dampening your surface, you could do that. But I'm just going to take my wash brush and dampen the entire surface so you can tell that it's important to have everything dry. I'm looking to try and make sure I don't have any dry spots here. Okay, so I'm picking up some white, picking up some gray. I just want it lighter than my background color. And we're starting to have a snowstorm here. Put a little bit more paint back here. While my surface is wet, I don't need to come all the way to the bottom, but I'm going to come in and mop, and I want to mop just enough to soften out my strokes. I want it to look like snow instead of brush strokes. And I'm coming here and I'm going to dry my mop brush on a dry paper towel and drying my surface again. So I'm not trying to obliterate what I put out here the first time. You can decide how many trees you would like to have on your surface, on your hill. Now, if you need to, you could come back in here and add your hill back in there. I did it. Let me do it a little stronger. Maybe I want to change it a bit. Here is your chance. Okay. And I'm going to add some more trees. It's kind of tall back here. And let's see, let's put some tiny ones over here. Maybe it's a little grouping of smaller ones. And I'll put a couple back there. Now, the other thing about the chalk pencil is I can decide, well, I don't want to do that one, and I can either take it off or I can just let the slip slapping get rid of it. I'm going to work from left to right so that I'm not sticking my hand in what I've just painted. A little more paint on that brush. Well, come on. And maybe I will make it into more like one brush, one tree. The other thing that I could do is, since I'm working on a smaller surface and want to be really tiny, I can come in here with a 2 round, same thing. Right, left, right, right, center, left, center, and put my trees in this way. I do have a jumpy hand, so sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not going over the trees I had on here originally. Yeah, as small as I'm doing here, my 2 round is doing a good job. Get a little bit more of a point on that brush. So I can make these as small as I want to. Put this one out in front of the other one a little bit. I keep refreshing my brush. So whatever brush works for you. This is a little young tree here. Now, if I want my trees to be a little bit larger, I'm going to switch back to my flat blender. And let's get some more paint out here. I showed the folks at the Artful affair that we had last May how I did these trees, and they seem to really enjoy that. Let's see, let's put a couple trees here on the hill. And I'm gonna my hand really wants to jump tonight. There we go. And it's okay to overlap on trees. We'll let that one be tall and skinny. Okay, let's go ahead and let's put another tree here. Let it be a little bit larger. Now this is going to overlap that one that I had on there to start with. So right center, center, left center, center. Okay, it's already starting to put that one a little further behind it. And I'm going to put one here that's a little bit larger. I'm going to keep doing layers. With my trees and my paint. So the nice thing is any one of these trees doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to dry. And I'm looking at my piece, deciding how I would like to do a little bit more of this. I want to have a little bit heavier mist in the back, but any of these trees can have more mist around it. Make sure everything feels dry. A hair dryer, I mean, a fan does just as good as a hair dryer with this. Okay, here we go. Pre-dampening again. Always pre-dampen. That gives you an opportunity to mop. And I want to check and make sure I'm not leaving puddles anywhere. Okay, don't see puddles. There we go. And I'm picking up less gray this time, a little more white. And I want to slip slap it on there. And we're just going over the whole thing. I've got a lot of light going here above my surface. So let me go ahead and mop before this starts to dry on me. See, that edge is already starting to dry. Now you can see back here that I've got a few trees just peeking out of this mist. Let's see if I'm still damp right here, so I'm going to put a little more fog there. And just get rid of the brush strokes. If you mop too much, you're just going to have a white surface. What we're trying to do is create the effect of fog or mist. So let's dry again. And you notice that I'm applying my paint in a crisscross manner. I'm not going straight across. I want to use that crisscross so that we have some texture. If you go straight across, you just lose the effect of mist. And I'm saying to repeat, which is true. So I'm going to come in. I've got the effect that it looks like I've got a hill going down here. So I want to start pulling some trees a little closer in the front. Maybe we can have a taller one back there. And maybe we're going to have a grouping here. Let one sit up on the hill. Maybe those are pretty close together. They're going to
Liz, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, am I good?
I think you're good. Your other device dropped off.
Yep. It may come back here, but we'll see. I've been wanting to try it with just the microphone on my phone. So here's our chance to try that.
Yep, so far so good.
Good. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, I'm going to dry. So I'm looking to see if there's any place else that I want a tree right now. I've got the ones in the back really receding. I'm wondering, I think I might like this tree to show up a little bit more, to be coming down the hill. Yeah. So see, you could go over anything you wanted to. Let's make it just a little taller. I can adjust it anyway. Yep, I like that. I just need to dry it now. Got a little thick paint right there. I want to dry. I don't want it smeared all over everything. Now, as I'm coming back to do my mist, I want to look back here. I want to have a little more coverage over these trees, and I want to create some mist coming up around the base of these trees. So I'll cover a little bit, but I want more mist around the base. Get out some more white paint here. And I'm still going to pre-dampen. Remember that it's damp, not wet. And I go both ways so that I make sure I've got everything covered. Things are drying pretty quickly here. If I don't get enough coverage before it starts to dry, then I can just go ahead and completely dry it and come back and dampen again. Let's go ahead and mist these trees up a little bit. I don't have to have them covered so much. Let me mop real quick. Yeah, I like what's happening in the back. I like the tops of these trees peeking out. If I wanted to bring something out a little bit more, I could just take a damp brush and clean off a little bit. I'm going to dry this and then see what I want to do. All right, let's make sure I'm dry. Hope so. And if I were just doing this and not for class, I'd take a little bit more time between layers to make sure that I was dry. Make sure I don't have puddles and then I'm catching the whole thing. All right, let's figure out where I want a little bit more mist up there. And want some mist rising up from the ground. I want to make sure I'm taking it off to the sides. A little bit of mopping. Don't like that straight line across that tree. I do want a little bit of white coming up. I can use any brush I want to. If it doesn't need mopping, I won't mop. Every time you do this, it's going to end up looking different. So I want to get this dry. Then I want to come back and do some glazing. Okay, I want a little bit more mist around some of these bottom trees. Let me come in, pre-dampen. We're just doing the bottom right now. More mist down here. So closer to the bottom, you're going to have more mist. Okay. Now, every time I do it, I'm in a little bit different mood. I like the mist. I would have liked a little bit more of that tree showing. But one thing I can do is let's just make it a little bit taller and try not to get too much paint up there. Yeah, I like that. They were both too much the same size. I think there's an eagle's nest in that tree right there. And I'm going to bring out top of that tree just a little bit. Peek through it down there. And that means I need to dry a little bit. Now, you could use any colors, excuse me, that you want to for glazing. What kind of light would you like to be showing through your trees? And I'm in a teal mood tonight, so we'll go with that. And I'm going to pre-dampen again. And if you wanted to use a glazing medium, you can. I usually just use water. I find that it works nicely for me. So I'm going to take a little bit, make sure you can see what I'm doing. This is my black green, and I'm just adding a little bit of depth to those front corners. I could mop just a little bit. If it looks too much like brush strokes, well, this is drying quickly. So I'm going to take a little bit of my accent color and just have fun. Let's do something a little bit different. Here's just another little bit of color. And we just mop. Okay, that was drying on me, so let me soften this in a little bit. That just gives me a little bit of different color. And I'm going to come back in here and just intensify my white a little bit. That wasn't very wet, so it's not going to blend out a lot, but I like it. I got satisfied. I would probably come back in this lower corner. I like that color a little bit better. It's not quite so dark. And just darken that little bit. So there we have trees in the mist. So if you'd like some more details, you can get my packet at artfulendeavors.net. And Cindy, you still there?
That's so beautiful. Everyone's
Uh,
loving it.
thank you. Thank you. I was thinking maybe I'd lost on this on my phone too.
No, no, you got me. You got me. Yeah, there's a
Uh,
whole bunch of compliments on Facebook, and there were no questions, but people were just admiring and loving the technique, thanking you for showing them this technique, which is very interesting. And it's so awesome. So thank you so much, Liz, for sharing that talent with us. If
well, you're
anyone has
welcome.
any questions for her, go ahead and post them in the comments. Make sure you put an @ sign in front of her name, and so she'll be notified that there's questions there for her. But yeah, and it works up so quick.
It does. It's pretty fast.
That's
So
amazing.
if you've got your trusty hair dryer close by, you could be working on a couple different ones. This would be a nice quick gift for someone, um, for several someones, and you could just work on one and then the other. So
Right.
thanks for joining me tonight, and be sure and check out my Facebook page and my website. And I've got lots of other patterns on my website. And I think next week, Cindy and I'll be back with the kitty painting the pansy.
Awesome. We do have one question. Ellen would like to know, how would you use media paint?
Uh, just the same way. Um, the difference with them is they're thinner. Okay, so you might be doing a few more layers, but and they had the iridescence, so that was really fun. Um, and then on this box, I've gone around and just added trees and some mist round on that also. The white in the media paint does really nice for mist.
So, Cheryl was wondering about colors, and I'm looking at it, and the top you just put up is like blues and blue greens, and I'm like, so it's like, yeah, right, whatever greens, whatever, colors, right?
You could do magenta trees if you wanted to. Uh, so your technique is just that you're gradually um, adding mist and covering over the trees that are in the background, giving yourself some aerial perspective. Yeah,
Um,
but more details in the packet. And if you look at the packet along with the video, I think that's pretty comprehensive.
yeah, cool. Well, I hope everyone tries it and then posts it in the Facebook group so we can all see it, tag us, and
Yes.
let's put the @ sign in front of our names, make sure the first letter of our names is touching the @ sign. And yeah, and we'd love to see it because it just is a really eerie feeling. It's kind of cool. Kind of brings me back to Italy when we were up in the mountains and we woke up in the morning and we couldn't see anything beyond the balcony
Oh, yes,
because it was
yes.
in the clouds.
Uh,
So it
and
was,
I guess you saw that the outdoor part of the Olympics are going to be in the Dolomites, and you'll probably see some of this. We could put Olympic rings up in the top of it.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Liz. Thanks everyone for being here. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay, taking time out of your day for that. And you can ask questions as well. And just put the @ sign in front of her name. And also, too, when this is off of Facebook in the next 30 days, you can find it on the YouTube channel. And I put that YouTube channel group or whatever YouTube title link in the comments here, so you can find it there. But anyway, so thank you so much and have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Halloween.
Bye-bye.